Hey, in festivals, do special guests get paid?
I don't think so. If they're like invited, because some promoters put flyers out that said invited guests or invited VIPs. That's just because they're invited. It doesn't mean they're going to come. Yo. Can you guys hear us? LA Natives Podcast, Las Aslan Natives Podcast. What's up, Zero?
LA Natives.
What's going on, familia?
Yo, we got Aurelio in the house today. Sky and Armando. We're waiting on Daniel. Hopefully Daniel will. Hey, here he is. Daniel.
What's up, boo?
Are you going to come up?
Yeah. I'm just getting my computer on right now. I just jumped out of the shower.
Come on, bro. You're like 80% of the show.
Oh shit!
Shout out to 10 Flowers. Shout out to Nipsey.
I'm on right now.
Shout out to the native kids. We're in the building.
Native kids. Yo, what up?
No, honestly, Zero, there's some weird shit going down right now in the world. I don't know if you heard, but there was like a glitch where all plane travel was canceled. People couldn't use their credit cards. Stock market crashed. All this fucking nonsense just within the last 48 hours. Did you
I
hear
didn't
about
hear
this?
about that. That sounded like a cyber attack. But I haven't heard about that.
What was that, man?
You haven't heard about this?
No.
I haven't heard about that.
I need to pull it up for you guys.
Cool.
Because a lot of shit's going down, like the stock market crashed.
Okay,
and then
yeah.
coincidentally,
that.
all the brokerage companies that were doing online trading just, coincidentally had an update and no one could trade their shares.
And did they lose value or gain value?
They've obviously lost value. Like the stock market has been getting hit
Took
massively.
shit. Yeah, they took
Right.
like
Took crazy shit.
almost $1 trillion.
People are apparently
worth.
people are scared. There's going to be a depression or recession. Sorry to say, we've been in a recession and a depression, right?
We've never came out of it. People think just because they could buy groceries and they can do things that really poor people can't do.
Okay, were you part of this whole stimulus? Like, did you receive stimulus cash for
No.
your business or some shit?
No, I didn't.
Sky,
I was
didn't
too
get
late.
Did you get a check?
I tried. I never got
Yo,
one.
did you get a check?
No. You get shit.
So bad.
Right?
Like 2. She's saying how much of a thing, for the Rhyme Fest thing.
So, yeah, right here, Head On. Hey, shout out to Head On. Welcome back.
Head On.
Microsoft glitch happened not so long ago, too, that interrupted flights worldwide. Yeah, it just apparently people couldn't even take airplanes.
Right. But then you got to remember that technology's starting to merge, right? And so just like whatever they did when they brought in the sickness and it made everybody stay home, they're testing the systems because they're going to a new version of currency. They're getting rid of paper currency and they're doing everything possible to do it. Right? So it's just like we were talking about in the shop today. It's like when they do stuff like this, be prepared for a lot of money coming at you.
Okay, so this was three days ago. A faulty software update causes havoc worldwide for airlines, hospitals, and governments.
Right.
And in the U.S., all flights were landed and no one was able to jump on a plane. And then no one was able to check into hotels. And the problem is with today, if you can't check into your hotel, bro, how do you get into a hotel nowadays?
Keyless, right?
Yeah.
Right? So they were telling everybody, yo, in order for you guys to get back into your hotel, you have to keep your door open.
What?
Or ask for the concierge downstairs to walk you to your room when you get back.
Wow.
Doesn't make sense because everyone's going to be taking up their time, right, to get back into the room.
Right.
So, yeah, this all happened.
Okay, so now instead of it being a glitch, let's just take it as they took out a lot of shit at one time, right?
But this was in Germany
Only.
and some parts of the U.S., but this was like the entire country of Germany.
Right. Okay. But that's what I'm saying. The test, right?
They're calling it a software update.
Okay.
Which is...
Yeah, they're not going to tell you the truth. To me, it's a test. This is why. Because we're moving into a global governance, right? Think about it. Stay with me. We're going into a global governance that's based on digital.
Right,
Everything
but,
digital.
But check out the whole title. A faulty software update causes havoc worldwide for airlines, hospitals, and governments.
Yeah.
Isn't it just the
Well-
same shit that happened during the Y2K, like the whole Y2 scare? But it never happened. But now it's happening. You know, it's like they just kind of program this fear of like, oh shit,
My
the
take
Y2K's coming.
my take
but
on
it's
it-
already here.
My take on it is that we're heading to a digital controlled system where you have to scan yourself to get on a plane, scan yourself to get on a bus, scan yourself to get on a train, right? So to me, it would be like, let's see if we could turn off all Germany. Because if they act up, we're going to turn that shit off. And maybe they don't turn off everything, but they turn off enough things to cause people to react,
Yep.
right? Because all of a sudden it came back on, right? Did anybody lose money? Did anybody do any of that stuff?
People couldn't trade their
That's
stocks.
it. That's it. But nobody got stolen like millions of dollars, and they didn't hack
Right.
in that way.
Right?
No, dude, they're controlling. They're seeing if they could control the system, see if we could turn it off and turn it on, right? And do the important things where it'll cripple the city or cripple the country, right? So now imagine if the U.S. is rioting all the time, and we're out of control, and they go, "Fuck the U.S. We're going to turn it all off. You can't fly, you can't travel, you can't buy groceries, you can't even stay in a hotel."
Now, the Chosen One says, and I'm sure this is according to the mainstream media, that the guy that made the code that created the havoc got fired.
Yeah, of course they're going to blame somebody. These guys are not.
One person, right?
Yeah, yeah. All right, cool. Let this fucking guy take the fall. It's. We got to think critically. To think critically, you got to go beyond the system. Now, I'm not trying to like make up stories and not have any facts, but I just don't buy into a regular media story and go, "Oh yeah, that's what's going on," because they've lied to us for decades, for centuries, since they began. It's a big lie.
Yeah. A lot of underground influencers, and I've seen most of them, like the Alec Jones types,
Yeah.
right? They're saying this was just a test. This was just like a little mediocre test, and they're just labeling it as something just to
That's what I'm telling
maybe
you.
push the new COVID
That's
bullshit.
That's what I'm telling you.
You know?
Right. Okay. So
Like
that's a good.
no, they're saying, is it a coincidence that this all went down remotely and just a couple sectors in the U.S. and
Right.
there's a big election coming up?
Right.
A lot of people, are spending more money on shit.
Right.
Right.
But now imagine okay, how everybody had a problem with the vaccine thing? Imagine if everybody refuses to take anything like that again, right? Oh, no one's doing it. No one's doing it. No one's doing it. All right, well, let's turn it off. Let's see if they do it now. It's going to that. It's not going to be overnight, but it is going to come if we don't do anything about it. It's control mechanisms.
You can't use your phone. And then
Can't buy gas.
And I heard a story about just the hotel shit. When you were a kid, Zero, how did you get into a hotel?
With the key.
Exactly.
Not a card key, a key, a regular key.
They could even check the ledgers. They didn't even know who was in what room.
Wow. Damn.
So there was an incident where some other people walked into the room. They double booked it because they didn't know they had booked
damn.
it prior. Back in the old school days, they just had a ledger, right? Or if the key was out of the number, there's
yeah.
someone in
Man,
there.
that room was taken.
Exactly. So they tricked us with the convenience of this digital era and took away the actual physical things.
And this is even worse. And how he ended it, even struck me harder. That he was like, remember the days where you memorized a whole bunch of phone numbers in your head, important people in your family. How many phone numbers do you remember now, bro?
Yeah, one, maybe two, maybe.
And I was like, yeah, I remember, dude, when I was 12, 13, 14, I had a pocket full of change, payphone. Bro, I knew about 100 numbers in my head.
Yeah.
Homies, friends.
Well, then see how it's closely, it's like little by
Sky,
little.
did you ever live the payphone era?
A little bit, yeah. I got to see that era.
Did you?
Yeah. Now they're just like
man, you
old
had to-
relics.
You had to remember phone numbers without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, right?
And see how they slowly taking stuff away, right? Like, remember how you used to have to actually know how to navigate yourself
Yeah,
in
gotta
LA?
know addresses and
Yeah.
all that.
Now you just, let me, like, if someone says, hey, get over here, but West Hollywood, and you don't have a phone.
If
you're-
there's a major outage right now, how are these kids going to be able to communicate? They don't know phone numbers.
Yeah.
Because remember, landlines are still active.
Damn.
You know?
But there goes the control part. There goes the authoritarian part. You know, this is where the
homie
system
goes
is
way
going.
back. He's like, yo, I go where we had to wind the phone up.
You know
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the dial tone.
The dial tone, that shit was dope.
Yeah. You know, it all kind of falls along the line of what we're talking about. But I saw. Isn't it curious, like that? All the leaders of the world that they're starting to put media attention on are dictators, right? Putin, the Chinese dude,
The Israel
South
prime
Korea,
minister. Yeah.
the prime minister of Israel, Trump, all the Venezuela, the
Dude, in El Salvador, bro.
Salvadorian.
Dog, you know he has all these fools locked up, right? Dude, if you even have a small fucking tattoo on your face, you're
Yeah.
fucking in jail, bro.
Yeah, and you're staying there.
And you know what's even worse? If you play hip hop, the fucking cops are gonna come knocking on your door and question you.
Wow, that's a dictatorship,
You can't even play hip hop over there, bro.
right? And
That's
then he
crazy.
sits there, and They picked the perfect one because he's gonna be like the spokesman. He's the spokesman to the guys that have the real power, right? Because he can go and justify. Well, look at how bad they are, and this is the only way they learn. I'm doing it with this country, you know. So, but notice, it's the El Salvador dude that gets coverage, Putin, the Chinese dude, Israel, and Trump, and the South Korean guy, Kim Jong-un, whatever. the fuck his
North
name
Korea.
is. Yeah, North Korea. Yeah, but they're all dictators. Isn't that weird? We used to talk back in like 10 years ago. It would be one person they talked about that was like that. One person. Now there's a group of them, right?
We got Daniel in the building. Yo, what do you think about this like, outage and how people just have to rely on technology so much nowadays, right?
Brother, but I mean, like, I don't know. Obviously, or like, should I say, I remember being in Mexico, man, in like mid 90s, past 2000. Someone said, hey, the power went off. And then literally people went like this. And they just kept walking, you know? So I think they just, come on, man. How long have we had technology like that? How long have we been distracted? You know, I mean,
Like the more comfortable we get, the more weaker we become, right? Like we need to have that phone to do almost everything.
well, I wouldn't say I know me, I don't carry it all the time. And sometimes it's a problem. It's funny. I was just coming back from Lake Tahoe. And I have a homie there that I've seen this guy. I've been teaching classes there for more than 25 years. And I met this guy the first class that I went, and funny thing is his name is Rudy, like my brother. And, truth be told, I don't really get along with my brother, but this guy was, real interesting cat, and at the end of the lecture, I said, hey, Rudy, how come you took my class? And he goes, Daniel, my last name's Gonzalez. And I was like, oh shit. Okay, Rudy. And so, we ended up staying friends. And so every year I'd go and he'd buy shirts for me and, go see me. And so, but I bring that up because Ruben, it's kind of crazy. This last week, it's like, it's been a tough week for me, but at the same time, every summer I go to Lake Tahoe and man, it just seemed like this summer, this time, it just seemed I just took a little more time to look at the woods and smell the air and swim in the water. And it just, I don't know, it just seemed I wasn't on my phone. I just kind of cut out from all that technology and just had classes and really concentrated on teaching the Shika culture all week. And it's really cool because it's what I love to do. I was getting paid to do my passion. And so it was really neat to just be out of the machine for a while and just be up in Lake Tahoe and just on a different vibe and just pushing native culture, and being blessed to be around people that wanted to learn culture, and so, but I agree, man. Sometimes I think technology just pulls us in, but I think it's because I'm going to say this, and it's really interesting as native people and as humans in general, We love to look into the light. Think about that. We love to look into the light. Think of all the ways that we look into the light.
No, that's a good point. That's a real good point.
I mean, the TV. What do you call the people that come out in TV? Stars. What's up at night at sky, you know? Well, the
Right.
sky next to you, but I mean, aside from the sky next to you, the sky that's up at night, you know, it's filled with stars, and you know, it's filled with
Light.
setal
Right. Filled with light.
light. But and that was the thing too, Ruben. It was nice. I was teaching math, and I was sharing with you. I was teaching the Mayan math system, and you know, I've been teaching it a long time, and I think what happens, at least for me as a teacher, I kind of changed my methods, and I was sharing. I came through a breakthrough in the teaching because I usually teach it and then I ask them questions. And sure enough, when I'm asking questions, people are getting the wrong answers. And it's like, man, what am I doing wrong? And I asked that, what am I doing wrong? And so I tried something different. And when I asked the question, no one got anything wrong. Everything was correct. And I was like, man, I'm on to something here. Because, as a teacher, you always try to change it, make them grasp it. It was the way I was presenting it. But I feel good when I make a breakthrough on educating people about our culture and about our information, and so, but that was something that, I don't know. I don't know how many times do we get to talk about our culture and our history and people are embracing it, and then, man, I just feel blessed, it was just a very good, and not only that, but Tahoe is where the Washoe people were. So our ancestors lived up there. Our ancestors were all up in that place. And it's a very special place, and I just, breathing the air, just being in the water there. It's just a different. It reminds me of Mexico City on a smaller level. It's the highest elevation, and there's a lake there. And so it's a special place. The natives always go to places like that to just commune with nature to get a little more harmonious existence. And truth be told, a lot of couples go there to kind of seal their commitment.
Mm.
So it's a really special place.
Well, cool. I'm glad to hear that it all went well and that you're back and you're safe. You know what I mean?
Right, safe, man. I think it was a crazy world, man. But yeah, and Ruben, I saw the podcast last week, and that was kind of hard for me to watch, man. I mean, at the same time, I'm just kind of glad that I wasn't in the mix of that. But I just think life is like that, brother. I was telling my nephew that the Mexica, we were no different than people today. It's just that we had different answers for the same problems that we had, because we still have the same problems, but the Mexica, we had different answers for the problems that we have.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I knew it was good to kind of have you review what you shared in Tahoe because.
Well, I mean, and truth be told, man, it was like, what's cool is I have this. It's a cool class, like to really, and I'm up in Tahoe and I'm teaching Aztec culture in Spanish, to people that want to learn Spanish, and so it's just interesting because Spanish isn't my first language, but it really makes me work. And one of the breakthroughs I came through was like, man, we cannot multitask, and when you're educating or trying to get people to speak Spanish, if they're in their head thinking too much, they can't speak correctly, but this trip, I guess I was a little, I don't know, kind of like ready to just feel love, but the classes started and I asked them, because we always start with, truth be told, 80% of the people there I would say are of European descent. And then 80% as well are over the age of 65. So you've got these people that are age 65 plus learning a new language. And like when you learn a new language, past the age of 5, you start to gather that information at a different hemisphere. And so it was really neat. People at that age, they're really like just alive, But anyway, so I would start the group and I always ask, what's your name? Where are you from? And why are you here? Like, why are you learning Spanish? And this year, this woman said something to me that just, man, I got a little emotional. I was like, oh my God, but I'd never heard this answer. And then she said, well, I'm learning Spanish because where I live, there's people that are in my community and they look so beautiful. They have such warm, clothing and their food is delicious. And I want to know, what are they saying? And I was like, oh my God, that's the most beautiful reason to learn Spanish. And I thought to myself, that could be the same example for any culture or any language, you know what I mean? And so just think about that. And to me, to hear that, it's like, oh my God, I just want to hug this lady, But these are the people there. They're like teachers, nurses, doctors. people that just see our community as a large community that speaks Spanish and only Spanish. And so these people, and I don't want to say these people, but those people say, you know what? I'm going to try to learn this language. And man, I just trip out because, man, like it's just wow. I mean, it's just a beautiful thing, and they're just the nicest people. I can't, I can't say enough, but it was just a really good experience.
Well, cool. What'd you teach
Don't
over there?
talk too much, Ruben.
No. It's
it's
cool. I mean, look, sharing information is basically what indigenous people do. They share, and you having an opportunity to share our culture. And obviously, people can get upset and go, "Oh yeah, well you're using Spanish and it's a Spaniard and this and that." The truth is, we own all languages. As long as you convey a message of peace and love, then that's what we're doing.
right.
No matter what language you use. So sometimes people will have an issue with that. You know what I mean? Like using the colonizer's tongue or whatever. And then we go and we want to revert back to our Nahuatl tongue, but we don't have the books, the teachers, the facilities that these colonial languages have. So anyways, I just thought since the lecture was done in Spanish that I'd address that.
Yo, I've
because-
seen a lot of fools online saying, "Yo, if you don't know Nahuatl, you're not native." Shit.
Hey, can I tell you, Mondo?
These are
who
the
these
hardcore
fools?
cats.
Who are these fools? Really?
Just
I mean, you know what I
just
mean?
the purists, I guess. I guess these fools are just all fucking hardcore out.
Here's the thing, brother. You know what trips me out, Mondo, and also tries to throw in Mondo, man. I want to say this, brother. I feel like your evolution on this fucking podcast thing is just amazing, brother. Like, I just, I want to give you credit, man, because it's like, man, you're just, you're on point, man, because you see this. It's
Absolutely.
interesting. It's like you're, because brother, I trip out off of like you and your brother basically gets Alcoa, and I was just thinking about that story, as I was lecturing, and it's kind of a trip, man, because our culture had all the stories, ethical, moral stories to learn about all the things that we did and that we do, like. And I was telling Ruben, like there's a story of Quetzalcoatl, that Quetzalcoatl gets the bones from Mictlan, Mictlan Tecutle and Mictlan Siwat, and there's something goes bad, and so Quetzalcoatl's running with the bones and falls into a hole and fucking mixes all the bones up. So that's why when we have kids, and we all look different because fucking they mix the bones up, and it's just funny how if we know our history, there's stories behind our thing, what we do, and so. But
because
the interesting, go ahead.
because our storytelling is showing you the scientific part of life.
Yep.
Right? The storytelling is the creative process of explaining how mixing bones creates new faces.
Oh no, you're right, Ruben. Let's go even further. It kind of tripped me out. It was like, okay, this is one of my breakthroughs. I was like, okay, story of Quetzalcoatl. Quetzalcoatl brings the new humanity, but how does Quetzalcoatl bring the new humanity? Well, Quetzalcoatl takes, is it his blood or her blood to make the new humanity?
Whoa, it's hers.
Hello, yes, Ruben, yes. And then, so as I'm teaching them,
because she has a period.
well, okay,
Drops the egg.
well, but how about this? I'm teaching the Mayan math, number system, and we begin with se. Okay, and it's funny how some people would say no, it begins with 0. Okay, well then let's start counting. 1, and somebody says 0. I said, yeah, notice how it doesn't begin with 0. You begin counting with 1. It's like, well, what do you count if it's 0? There's nothing to count. And they don't get, but again, it's a practical, real knowledge. And I remember back in the day, someone say, well, you count with 0. Okay, well, how do you count? You count 0, 1. No, you don't. And maybe you do. But here's the thing too. So, and explain to them through the math that all the words that begin with se are the first. That's the first one. Like, okay, sewatl, the first one in water is woman. Seatl, the first water. Sempoali, the first 20. Sesontli, the first corn. Everything's the first. And we understand. So we got to start incorporating the numbers to the words. In our English language, you don't do that. You go into math, you go into science, you slide in different shit. And our stuff's all in a circle. So it's all connected. So we begin, and it's like someone's telling me, oh, well, man's the first. No, man's ome. And fucking the woman is sewatl. So 1, 2. Fibonacci numbers. You look at the blades. It begins with what? It begins with 1. Then it goes 2, 3, and then 5. That's the sequence of nature. And so, like, it doesn't begin with 2. Okay, Ometeo is two, but that's two creative energies, you know? And so it's just explaining how our math system and our creation story is all wrapped together. Because if you know what the word woman means, there's no debate on who comes first. But then again, too, Ruben, it's interesting. For 25 years, I've been teaching this, Mexica culture. And Mexica culture, the woman's in charge, period. That's it. And it's funny because I say 25 years I've been teaching this class, and 25 years I've been saying the same thing. Why do you think this year my message is different? It's not. They're saying, no, but this year we're gonna, okay, well, cool, but my story's been the same. And I tell you why. Why do I say that? Because my mother raised me. My mother raised me, and my mother, that's what I'm talking about. Women need to be in charge. My mother was in charge. My mother left everything in order, was the administrator, gave love, was fair, was able to take a nickel and make it into a dollar, you know. And so that woman, you know, and like I said, truth be told, I love my dad, but when she died, I had to take care of my dad, you know. And so that's just,
Mhm.
you know, it's like a Mexica will never say a man's in charge. That dude's a fool. A Mexica doesn't say that. A Mexica feels. That's why when somebody says, hey, you're in your feelings, they're like, well, no fucking shit, what the hell else am I going to be in?
Well,
I'm
I
not, I'm
mean,
not, I'm not colonized. I'm not the colonizer. I'm not colonized. So because I feel, I'm real. You know, and the things you think about this, somebody's going through an emotional tough time in their life. Why the fuck would you say something fucked up to them right there? It's like, who are you? Why, you know, and that's the world we live in. But again, too, my mother never said shit like that. When things were down, we were hurting. Oh, mijo, come here. It wasn't like, oh, what did you do? And you started this podcast with that authoritative shit. It's shit, Ruben. It's, you know, life isn't somebody controlling you. It's not, man. It's you with love, with that tonal, that nagual energy influencing, setting the example. You know, and so for me, I was set the example by the creator, and she's a beautiful creator. And so I share that because, man, I got love. And like, man, when that dog left me last week, man, all the love in the galaxy came to me. And it was just beautiful because the creator loves you and you love the creator. It's a cycle, it's a spiral, you know, that spins. And so, in that energy of death, I was embraced with so much love, you know, and so it was just, I know. I just, you know, I think how blessed I am, but how blessed I am too, brother, to have you in my life, to have all the people that are in my life, you know, that I can go teach about the Mashiach culture and get paid, you know, like, I got paid for that, you know, but that's the way things work. You know, you do what you can and you do it with love, and it's going to come back, you know. And so it's just, sometimes people are just, I don't know, man, they just didn't have that. I don't know if they have love, but we can all get there, Ruben. It's like you said, it takes us, you know, we're all a community, but sometimes, Ruben, a leader has to emerge. And that's just the nature of a group, you know?
I
And
guess I have a different concept of leadership. You know, leadership is being is focused on the body to be strong enough to do the work that others see you need help with. That's a leader. I'm gonna take up all this trash, and then people start going, "Oh, well, maybe I should help him." Right?
right. Well, a leader leads by example.
But if the leader goes and sits on a chair and says, "Hey, man, go pick up that trash and put it over there," and who washed the dishes at Malinali today? You did. Exactly.
Hey, but brother, I would say this: how many times you
That's
see
a
a
leader,
woman?
bro. That's a leader. So I'm just trying to make a point about what the leader is. You can't complain when you're the leader. It's hard, and I'm not the leader. I'm never gonna lead anybody. I'm gonna work my ass off and hope that people help me. And if they don't, I'm still gonna complete my task. That's a leader.
And
Completing your
Ruben,
task.
and that's a good concept. But also, too, I was going to remind you, brother, you've raised 5 amazing individuals. Okay, and so I think that, you know, in terms of our life and what we leave behind and what we do, I think that our greatest influence is, you know, your greatest creation. You know, because above all, brother, like, I consider you a leader because I've seen the way you raised your kids. I've seen the way that they affect the world, and you know, we have to occupy this land, but we have to occupy this land with people that have the love and the reverence of the land that we live on, you know, that respect the mother, and enough to, if you respect the mother, then you could reach manhood in a level that, you know, the colonizer will never understand, you know. And so, you know, we as men, like, it's our job to lead, Ruben. It's our job, but to lead. That's different than administrating, you know. And so it's just think of
No,
us
but
as
that's
men.
what people call a leader. Somebody that tells people what to do,
Yeah, but
how to
how?
do it.
Yeah, and how thrown off is that? You know what I mean? How many people call themselves Mexica and they fucking be hitting people? How many people call themselves Mexica and they steal shit? I mean, like, come on. It's like,
Yeah.
you
But I
know, I'm
guess,
just saying, brother. You
you're
know,
right. I have 5 children. And out of those 5 children, each one of them, I presented to the fire. Not knowing my culture, not knowing my tribe, and not knowing my language. But I knew enough to take them to the fire and to put them into the temescales. And to make Jenny go into the temescales while she was pregnant. Not make her. I take that back.
good job.
Yeah.
You know,
Never make it. I never make it.
Ruben,
But sometimes you get
no, of
caught in
course,
the mode
Ruben. What's
and
interesting?
explaining something. But let me finish.
Okay,
I never made my kids go in, though. I challenged them. I said, hey, now's the time where we're going to go in. We're going to go in, okay? No, Dad, I don't want to. You could sit by me. No, Dad, okay, you don't want to go? Okay, but stand by the fire. Next temescal, you're going in. If you're not going to go in today, you don't have to. But you got to stand by the fire. But next temescal, you can't say no. You're going. What I'm trying to point out is that I'm not administrating. I'm guiding. A father guides. A leader guides. He does not mandate. At least in my leadership, the way I view leadership, all of my uncles, all the elders that know me by name and know my family, they taught me how to lead by putting out the blankets, by chopping wood, and me going, hey, Uncle Al, let me do that for you.
The homie Hector right here is going in the chats. He says, when women lead, most men are unhappy and single.
Look,
Then he says, when men leave, we die happy and fulfilled.
look, I think
yeah,
both of them.
that's
I
funny.
think
At least the
Those are
man guys,
isolated
you know,
incidences.
no, those are colonial
cool.
perspectives of women and men in relationships. Meaning one has to dominate the other or the other one has to dominate. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, whoever's dominant in the relationship will dominate. I know because
Well, if
my partner
Kamala,
was very dominant.
if Kamala Harris is president,
Ex-partner.
is her husband in charge?
Oh man, look, look. This is what makes the relationship beautiful, right? Is when you trust your partner enough to ask him for help when it comes to doing certain things. And when the woman is not strong enough to do something, then she asks her partner who is strong enough. So it's a symbiotic exchange of intentions that make the relationship harmonious. No one is dominant of another person. And if we go into the relationship in that way, it's going to end. It's going to end because no one wants to be under the foot of a tyrant, of a know-it-all. I'd rather learn from people who are patient to learn with me. That's it. That's the way I explain it. You know what I mean? That's the way I feel leadership. Leadership is very delicate. But you have to be the strongest person to hold the very delicate thing in your hand. That to me is a good leader. And I'm not that yet.
Well, I would add this, Ruben. It was kind of nice. Again, like I said, this week there was a lot of people there, and to add, okay, so in all my classes, I probably had about 85% women. Maybe occasionally, like say there was 20 people in the class, there'd be maybe 2 or 3 men. And truth be told, they were all men that were there with their wives, and not a single one of those guys was authoritarian. Those guys were all just like. They were getting along with it. Like they looked like them and their wife were good friends, and they were happy. And I was like, man, hey, how long you guys been married? Oh, we're married 30 years. They're just telling me stories, and it's just like, just amazing being around people that are just happy, man. That are just they pick good couples and like. So I just trip out. I was like, hey, well, what do you know? And a lot of the men were just very like supportive of their women, man. Like they were just a team. There was no like, it was just interesting too because when we're all speaking Spanish here. You get to know people through through the venue of Spanish, and man, a lot of these people that were just travel so much, and they always have beautiful stories about each other. And you could always tell a couple, man. You say, hey, man, tell me a story about your guy. When a woman talks a story about her husband and vice versa, it's really neat, man. You know what I mean?
Special. That's special. That is
It
special.
is, and think about it. They're speaking Spanish, so it's like it's just again too. It's just a crazy thing, And I shouldn't say crazy, but it's just that it was cool because my classes every day I'd get more people in my class, and they'd be saying, "Hey, you got to take this guy's class," and so they were just feeling it, and I was just really fortunate because a lot of people kind of were relating to just the native culture. It was like a theme this summer. It's like people were just like Native American. Oh, you're doing the Native American. Like, I want to hear. And so people were really open to that. And so I'm just very feeling very blessed because I've been teaching this class for a long time, and it just seems like people are really ready to start to ask better questions. And it was just really neat.
To finish up about the man and the woman thing,
Uh-huh.
I don't think it's dominant. This is a metaphor that I came up with while we were talking about it. Picture a road, right? And a woman walking on that road. And as she's walking on that road, she has a big pail of flowers, like a heavy load of flowers. And then a man comes on that road with her and says, hey, can I carry your flowers for you? Now, the woman has the strength to carry the flowers on her own. But the intention in the man's heart is to assist her on the way. And I can carry them for you. Can I carry your flowers? See, it's not about when a woman leads, is that you love that person so much that when she needs help, and she's going to need a lot of help, especially if you have children, you need to be there to do it. And I can't admit that I was like that the whole relationship that I was with my partner. But I can tell you that when I saw her on the road, or my ex-partner, I asked if I could carry her flowers for her. No strings attached. Just, I'm a strong person that can carry your flowers. And then one day you're going to be like, fuck that. I'm going to carry my own flowers. And get the fuck out of here. I don't need you to carry my flowers. I know you have the strength to carry your own flowers. But my intention that comes from my heart is to carry those flowers for you. And if it helps you just a little bit, then that's what makes it beautiful. It's a pure intention from your YOLO. So when you get into a relationship with someone, make sure you're willing to carry those flowers. And make sure you're ready when she's asked you for those flowers back and she doesn't need you to carry them anymore. And that was me and my ex-partner. She can carry her own flowers now. That's the best way I can explain it.
Yeah, I just got married, what?
Oh, yeah. Congratulations.
6 months ago?
Yeah.
6 months ago?
Yeah.
How's
Still
it going,
new to me.
Mondo?
Still
How's it
new
going?
to me, Zero, but hey, it's working out.
Cool.
That's good. Then you married the right girl. You married the right girl, then,
Absolutely.
brother.
And I, just
love
turned
Nora. Shout out Nora.
And I just turned 40, so
Right on, bro.
it's
Congratulations, man. It's a big milestone to meet someone and want to share a life in that way.
I paid a lot of money for the fucking wedding too,
Yeah.
dude.
And it has
It's just not fucking cheap, guys.
Hey, hold on. I wanted to say too. I wanted to comment on Maglakli Xochitl. Because Maglakli Xochitl has a good point, and I think that a lot of times that we're raised kind of in a crazy like male mindset. And so that was kind of interesting. I thought that sharing with people about the Mexican and how the women were our administrators. And just how our world worked in a way that, like I said, man, we led, but we weren't in charge. Does that make sense? We were leaders, but like, because it's almost like
we built the building where the women sat and administrated. We built
I
it.
think, brother, I think you're
thought
too
of
caught
it.
up in
We thought of it. We thought of it. We did the math of it. We measured it out. We put stone by stone. We put the chairs there. Now administrate. Bring the kids.
Right.
Bring the kids. Sit them down. They're right. They're ready.
It's like that James Brown song.
You can't do. You can't. I don't think that Nahuatl culture had a dominant kind of thing to it. That's
It didn't.
colonial
Right.
colonial culture.
Yes.
A man who saw an intellectual woman, a smart woman, a strong woman didn't go, "Oh, there goes the feminist." He did not say that. He
Yeah,
didn't see a
definitely.
gender. He saw somebody who was smart and knew what the fuck they were doing.
Well, Ruben, think about it. The Mexica culture, the native culture, the Lakota people, they knew what the blood meant for women, and so the men did a ceremony where they gave their blood as an offering. So if you understand why they did that in the basics or the principle around that ceremony, then you understand where women were. Because I think is it, my nephew always tells me this is a deal. We live in a culture, Western culture is basically God, man, and then the earth. Okay, let me say it again: God, man,
Right.
and the earth. So think about it. Because let's say it in Spanish, that's Dios. Dios. So it's basically, well, we don't have a word for Dios, but they're saying Dios. Then you got Tlali, or no, then you've got Tecutli, and then you've got Tlali. So they're beginning with the number 2, and then they're coming to the earth. I mean, they're just off. They're fucking off. You got to begin with number 1. It's just like their time. Their time says AD and BC. Why the fuck is that? Do you start like with negative numbers when you start counting? No, because what happens is if you're fucking late to the game, you got to pick up where the fucking time really is. Their time's off. It was never on. And that's the thing is that like we had the concept of time, so we started to count it. That's why there's the Tonal Machotl. There's the example of us looking up at the sky and deciding to map that. And we know because the first number is se. Se. And that's where things. So this year I did that. I said, okay, I put up the sign and then I said, okay, so this right here is se. Then I said, this is uno and 1. So that was the breakthrough. I normally would teach it and I would just do the Nahuatl names and I wouldn't say uno or 1. And I was really I was fucking up because I got to put it all together so that, when you start to do the lines and then things, I tried to put them together so that se, ome, ye, nawi, then makwili. So makwili is your hand. So then it's chico se, chico me, chico ye, chico nawi, maklakli, mak. Mak's your hand. So I try and tell them every time you see, a line,
Daniel,
in your thought. Go ahead.
Can you do it one more time but slower?
Okay.
Just so that the
No,
audience
perfect. Okay, so
like this as kindergarten as this feels.
no, you're right, because it's always kindergarten,
when
brother.
we
You always
fucking
gotta take
master
it as-
this, when we master these 10, then we could take it to 20.
Well, no, brother, but here's the thing. You're right, and the thing is, we're the count. So when you go home, you still have all your digits.
And this is deep, guys, because we're peaking right now. We got a lot of people paying attention. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment in the video, share the video. We got Daniel
right on, brother.
in the building.
And congratulations for making the leap, man. And I think that you're doing good, brother, because it's like, man, we as men do well when we find a partner that reflects us, And again, too, it's like, so
Yeah.
this is woman and this is man. But remember, I said they begin here. Okay, they skip this point, and you can't do that. And that's the world that they live in. They live in this world. And the thing is, in our world, okay, so this is dos, Dios. So we're the origins of the concept of two. Two, like the 2 serpents that go around the stone, Nagual, and Tonal, the one you see and the one that you feel. They're both happening simultaneously, and so that's the thing. And that's why
Like
it's
the physical and the spirit.
Yes, because there's what you feel and then there's what you see, and they're always the same. Tonal is the man and the woman. Nagual is the energy that exists between them, like the wind. And so think of it too. And Quetzalcoatl is creation, because the wind is creation. When you come through the birth canal, you breathe. And so Quetzalcoatl is first the spinal cord and then the air. And so, but again, it's all the feminine energy of creation. They say men are from Mars, women are from Venus. You know, and so it's already laid out for us. It's just that the pendejo gets in the way, you know, and so. But okay, so we'll do this again. So this is okay. Yeah, it's your finger, se, and then but it's actually uno and one. You know,
Right.
just a dot. But here's the thing: if it's not a dot, it can also be a maíz. You know, like see, I draw it like this. It's you know, hold on real quick. So this is a maíz. See, and so this is, you know, like the corn. And so when you see this, you see them too, like in the symbols, you know, the number counts all through here. So when they show you the symbols, they're basically showing you a book. And so, but here's the thing. Okay, so basically, se, ome, and then here, back here. And then there's yay. And then there's nawi. And the thing is, as I was giving the numbers, it takes a while to get through these because you got to start talking about all the words that contain these numbers in them. Like the middle of the Aztec calendar is the nawi olin. So it's the 4 movements because those first numbers are important. And you know, it's because they're the sequence of nature. Even though 4 isn't part of the sequence, it's part of the number count. It depends on what you're looking at. You know, are you counting the moon? Are you counting the sun? Are you counting Venus? You know, and those number counts aren't in base 10. And I think that's what it was funny because a woman, bless her soul, she was like, it was so funny. And I told her, I said, ma'am, I love you. Please, you're not out of place. But she said, I'm totally confused. I said, okay, ma'am, what's the problem? She goes, I thought that the Aztecs were in the 1500s. You're telling me that they're still alive today. I said, well, believe it or not, I'm going to show you one. And she's on the whole class top. I said, here we go. Me, you know, and everyone started laughing, you know, but it was like, well, to see that, it's just that she didn't understand, and she was just, and bless her soul, she was being completely honest, you know, she was like, I'm confused, and I told her, I said, you know what, I'm sorry, ma'am, I said, I'm confusing, you know, I can confuse you, you know, but it's just that, yeah, it's a lot, you know what I mean, and so, but okay, so let's go ahead, and we'll finish it, so then, makwili, but here's the thing, man, when you look at this, you got to always think of your hand. If you could put that together, and as long as you're not missing any fingers, because you got to look at this, you always think of 5. It'll always be 5, and this will always be 1. Okay, so se makwili. Okay, now how about this though? This is, and I don't mean to fuck y'all up, but if you know that powali means 20, what is makwili powali? What would that be worth, Ruben? If it's makwili powali, powali means 20.
Right. 25. Right.
Okay, think about it. Makwili is 5, and Powali is 20.
25.
So if this has 5 20s in it.
Oh, 100. Ah, okay.
Now understand, this is very important. Hold on, this is very important. At the beginning of my class, I say, what I need you to do today is I need you to make mistakes. The reason I need you to make mistakes is because every time you make a mistake, you're going to stop and you're going to learn something.
Right.
Because when you don't make a mistake, you're understanding it. And so for me, the more I teach it, I'll get a breakthrough because, man, I'll understand it if I just keep teaching it because you all are a little different, but I'm supposed to be the same. And that's
Look, I have no shame about not knowing anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I don't know it, like, I shouldn't feel embarrassed about not knowing that I don't know this because my life didn't allow specific time to learn these things. So no matter when I learn it, I'm humble to it. But when I learn it, I master it. You know what I mean? I put it straight in my heart and I make sure that I fucking digest it. So thank you for correcting me, and I have no problem.
No, brother, it's not about correcting. It's about you understanding it because the thing is, I have to let you in your brain work it out because the thing about it, you were thinking 5, 5, right? Right? You were thinking 5 because I mean, you can't do it. It's just once you break through because we're taught to do base 10. You use the 0 at 10. We're taught to just do 10, 20. And that helps you count, but that doesn't help you count math in the world because, and there's a guy said this and it was beautiful. He said, math is the language of the universe.
Right. Perfect. So since you said math is the language of the universe, and we know that Se Tlali is the earth, right? Or
it's our first earth.
Our first earth, right?
Yes.
And we're speaking the language of the universe because all of the words have the math, the first part of a math component, right? To
Yes.
explain what we're talking about.
Yes. And here's the thing, Ruben. Some of the numbers are so important that they have another name outside of their number. If that makes sense. Like, I'll give you an example. Maklakli Iwanye, okay, is
11.
10.
Yeah.
Maklakli Iwanye.
Oh, 13. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So Maklakli
13.
Iwanye is 13.
Yeah.
But it's also called Tlalpili.
Mm.
Tlalpili. Because it's the smallest 13 count. Tlalpili literally represents the Earth. Earth is the 13th planet in the sequence of our system. And so Tlalpili is also Maklakli Iwanye. Same thing with, I've got uh, Omepuali Iwan Maklakli Iwan Ome. So that's 52. 52 is also Shimulpili. So Shimulpili is a count of 52. So a Shimulpili has 4 Tlalpilis in it. And so
This is
when you look at the calendar, this is Tlalpili. Okay, the whole thing is Tlalpili, but Shimulpili is each quadrant because it's a 13, a 13, a 13, and a 13. And like Mondo and his brother, they're 26. They're only 2 13s. So they're on the 26th, you know. So think about it. It goes 13, 26, and it's what 13 times, 13 plus 26 would be what, 39, and then 52. So these are the sequence that it goes. And so if we understand the math, that's like you're saying, we can understand the galaxy and the universe the way it works because our ancestors put all the circle in 1 year. We have to use a leap year because they don't know how to track the time correctly. We've tracked it and made it a circle. Here's another one, and this is another breakthrough. Is like, so
Before you go on, though, then our learning the Se Omeye Nawi, those numbers is like learning the ABCs.
yes, you're getting it. Yes,
Yes.
brother. And that's the thing. But the things that you don't break through it until you get the numbers, and you're like, oh, okay. So, and here's the thing. Okay, and this is maybe Sky can I could have Sky answer this question. Sky, where does a circle begin and end?
Ooh. I'd say in the middle point.
Okay, well, technically, it doesn't have a beginning or an end. Technically, okay. They say a circle doesn't have a beginning or an end. That's why I was giving lectures about 2012. People thought the world was going to end. Well, no, a circle doesn't end. Okay, right?
Mhm.
So it wasn't going to end. But here's my point. In the Mexica culture, the Mayan culture, we're so old that we do have a beginning point in the circle. Do you understand that? There is
Yeah.
a beginning point. And you know
Right.
what it is? Sepakli. Why is it Sepakli?
I have no idea.
Really? No
First
idea.
out of what? First out of
Sepakli. Sepakli. Why do you think it's the first one?
the first one out of water.
The
Sepakli.
first one in the circle. There's 20. I'm sorry. There's 20 symbols in the circle.
Yeah, but if you
This is
take
the
an
one on-
alligator or a crocodile, it was the first one out of water. It was in
Well-
water and then it came out
Well,
of
the
land.
first one out of water. The first one in water is Sewatl, and that's a woman.
Right.
But the word, Ruben, here, listen to me.
Mhm.
Sepakli,
Hmm.
just like Sewatl, just like Seatl, just like Sontli.
Hmm.
So Sepakli, it's the alligator, but the word is saying Se. So it's telling you it's the first word, it's the first symbol in the count.
Yeah.
And that's it, because it begins with 1. And that's the thing. Many of our words
In
begin with
Masasin's book, when he breaks down Sepakli, he says the first one out of water. You know?
Okay, hold on. That's true. Because there's many stories, man. Like, he's right. It's true. It is the first one out of water. You're right. I think what's happening is that there's so many stories, Ruben, is you're confusing them. You're mixing them together. But the beauty of it is you are correct. You know? Because he's correct. Does that make sense? Like, it's
Right.
true. It is and think about it. Water is all about creation because Go-atl, okay? Go-atl is the center and the water. And how about this one? It's kind of funny. Tenochtitlan, okay? Do you hear that word? Tenochtitlan. So you know what T means, Ruben? It means the abundance, where things come together.
Okay.
It's an abundant coming together. But how about this one? Have you ever heard the word teepee?
DP?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. No. Well,
It's a
like
gathering place.
like a teepee? Oh.
Yay.
That's
Yay.
crazy.
Smart guy. So, you know what I'm saying? So I start to put together because I'm listening to the words. It's like, okay. And then
I feel like I'm in class and like the teacher's like, hey, you enter this. I'm like, okay.
no, we'll do it, but you keep talking. So I say, hey, sir, you got something to say? But
Yeah,
brother, I love you. You know what I mean? Because but
yeah, of course.
that's what Ruben, you know what it's like in my class. That's the way it
Mhm,
is. Because
mhm.
in my class, Ruben, it's love. Okay.
Yeah,
It's the
and I don't
intimacy.
mind learning.
A
I don't
true
mind learning.
Mashika, a true Mashika resonates from their heart.
Mm,
Okay. A true Mashika resonates from their heart. And I mean, my heart is always full, and so because my heart is full, I share that with you. If my heart was caca, I'd share that with you.
right.
You'd say, "Hey, yeah, damn, he's full of caca." Okay, luckily, I hope I'm not. But I'm saying is like you share what's inside of you, and yes, you have shit inside of you. It's supposed to come out the back end, not the front end. You know,
Right.
and so. But okay, let's get get back to Masati. The homie knows because you read it and you understand it.
Mhm,
The tonal machotl is intended for you to observe it, experiment, discover, and at the end create.
mm,
Come up with something new. And so that's what this is. It's an instrument that's an instrument that knows how to. You're reading the galaxy. We're moving through the galaxy. And then one part of it is our birth. It's when you come through the birth canal, your name and who you are. And man, that was cool. Like having people do their names. Yeah, it was really neat. And I always say a shout out to these the three women that I had. There was is Kelly, Susan, and Cameron, and there was three women that I had in the afternoon, and it was just so pleasant, man. They were just really, man, just amazing individuals. And at the end of the classes, because what I do at the last class for my group, I usually bring them like some wine and some cheese, and it's kind of like a little party the last day. And so I did that for them, and they were acting a little funny. I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And they're like, "Oh, we got together. We got you a gift." I was like, "Oh, wow!" I was like, "I don't never really get gifts like that." And so they got me a hat.
mm.
The Lake Tahoe Community College, and the thing that was so nice. But then they said, "Oh, we gave you messages underneath the bed." I said, "Oh my god, that was so
Oh,
neat." But when your students give you a gift like that, man, it just touches your heart. You know what I mean? And so I really felt like I just missed teaching, and man, it was just a really good, um, man, it was just a good experience, man. And as I was saying, we were just excited about teaching the culture, and all the people were just amazed that the Mexica still are alive today. And
mhm.
that we were run by women. It was a very it just really touched my soul. It was my it made me feel good.
Have you ever been to Lake Tahoe, Zero?
A couple times, like once or twice. When I used to take care of autistic kids, I used to have to go take care of a kid out there.
Wow, yeah, it's how about you, Mondo? You been there?
I think I've been there once.
Oh man, you gotta go, brother. And the things there's some good hip. There was a really good hip hop show this last weekend. I want to say Atmosphere was there and someone else, but they
Oh,
have good
damn.
shows.
Well, that's Ryan Fest. Shout out Ryan Fest.
Yeah, yeah, no, that was that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh no, they played. I think Lake Tahoe too.
Yeah, no, but he's gonna be here.
Yeah, yeah,
in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
Well, he was playing on
the
Saturday. He
17th,
was
on
playing
the
on Saturday
17th.
in Lake Tahoe.
August
So
17th. So shout out Ryan Fest. Shout out Amanda. Shout out Scooby.
yeah, I'd like to get all you guys up there with me, man. I think next summer, if we have time, I mean, it'd just be nice to have. Because what I find is that there's a lot of people up there, and they're just really eager to learn about our culture. And I think that especially in Los Angeles, there you have a lot of people that are just vibrant instruments of our beautiful culture. And it's just when we take our time to embrace our culture, and our culture is such a I don't know how to say it. It's just a rich trove of so much history of medicine, dance, music, history, mythology. I mean, it's just we're rich with so much, and it's just that we come from a place that we're still in our place. The land hasn't changed. Just the language that we speak has changed. But we're still here, and I think it's just things like the podcast, Molyneux Superfoods, you know, these organizations, things. But again, too, remember we have the same problems today that we had back then. It's just that we have to do better at coming up with better solutions that we all can agree with. And I think sometimes, we just have to get out of ourselves, and kind of think of a bigger picture. And I think the Mexica, we always did that. We always knew that our effect affected things. It's like a domino effect of everything you do. And you got to think before you speak.
That's something I learned when I went to Mexico. The first time I was 18 years old, I went to some ranchos out of Guadalajara, and I just sat back and I watched people from the neighborhood gather together and talk about how they're going to take care of certain fields and certain animals because they all benefit from it, right? It has
Right.
to be that way. So if we go back 100 years or a couple hundred years, to the time of our ancestors, the point of our understanding was to be able to work together because we had problems that were going to come up. So we all had to figure out how we're going to deal with that problem. Nowadays, we live in houses separated from each other. We say hi to each other as neighbors, but we don't get together and say, how are we going to clean this street? How are we going to make it safe for our children? Who's going to put up the barrier so no cars run over our children while they play? Like, that is a community. People who have patience to learn from each other is what makes a community, not dominance over each other. That's never going to work. And not separating and living in individual houses and saying hi and going, that's our community. No, it's not. Community works together to solve problems that we know are going to be there.
Well, you two, I was going to add, Ruben, it's kind of interesting that the people in the chat are talking that part of the 20, part of the 20 that are around the circle, like think about some of these that are the 20, like one of the symbols is house, Gali. Think about it. In our base 20, we got a house. We also, like my homie Luna, we have a dog. Like, just think of all the base 20, all the things here that make up the foundation of our society. And what was interesting is that, do you know who ran the teepee, Ruben? Do you know who put it up and took it down? Do you know who built it? The women. The women were the ones that ran the structure. They were the ones that we lived in their house, and so it's in our culture, there were certain roles that they just did because it kind of worked for them. That was something they were doing. And for us, it worked for us. Our physical prowess, our physical strength allowed us to travel and be hunter-gatherers,
It's not only, it's not, a man's contribution is not his physicality or his strength.
But that's his value. Yeah. It's like people have strength, whatever it is you bring to the table.
His value is his strategy and his intellect on how he uses his strength.
Right. Well, not only that, but who teaches him that?
Not that he's strong.
Do that.
Because you could be in my estimation, you could be the strongest motherfucker in there. But if you're the dumbest, you could be the strongest one.
Sadly, the smartest guy. I'm sorry, the dumbest guy is always the strongest guy. I don't know why.
No, what you have to be is strong and smart.
Yes, of course.
You have to be strong. That's what I'm saying. It's not. We can't, like, when we say that men brought their physicality, it's like, we're like this log that's in this place that people sit on. Like, that's how inanimate we are. No, men are brilliant, strategic minds. They're builders. They're so dope that they build a house that a woman goes, oh my God, I want to live in that thing.
Right.
That's who a man is.
And think about it too, Ruben. I was thinking about this lately or recently. It's like in our culture, like when we went out and we hunted, we physically hunted. Like you had to have the knowledge to go hunt with a bow or whatever it was. Like you had to have that experience. Whereas, when
you have to know how to fast.
Right. Good point. But here's the thing: when the Pilgrims came, they just shot shit from way off. They didn't have to have, like but by just killing things, they lacked the experience and the knowledge that was already here. The people that already learned those things. Because think about it: if you have a gun, you'd be shooting everything. But if you have to catch everything that you eat, you don't catch everything. And so it was just a system. I don't know. It's kind of like.
That's why I don't believe that we just ate meat and went to hunt because it was
of course not. It was part of it, Ruben, because we ate everything. It was all part of a balanced diet. Because
but if we look in abundance, if we look at the word Tenochtitlan, the place of abundance, and if we look at just meat sources as food and sustenance, then we're eliminating a plethora, an abundance of many other things. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about seeds. I'm talking about roots. I'm talking about algae. I'm talking about pollens. I'm talking about barks.
Well, I did see something, Zero, that kind of made me think. There was a dude, I guess a nutritionist, that said, dude, humans, weren't meant to eat meat. If you can move your jaw left and right, that means you're plant-based.
Yeah. Well, it's
I don't know.
And when we no,
And
that
people were questioning his ideas, right? But that got me thinking. I'm like, well, it kind of makes sense to me because we can't survive being plant-based. So,
dude, I haven't had meat in 10 years.
but
more than that.
But does he have a point? If you can move your jaw left and right,
No, I mean that could be it. But if you just look at and analyze, like if we take the benefits of maca root, right? That's a root that's powdered, that no longer just becomes a root that you bite like an apple, but when you powder it, it becomes abundant. And if you powder all your crop, now you have enough to feed the whole community. So I don't buy into just meat. I'm not saying that meat wasn't a part, but just meat, I don't agree with that. It's too hard to catch. It's like it's inefficient. It's inefficient.
I think you're right.
But
It wasn't just meat.
Tell me if there's abundance of roots,
No, there is,
abundance
Ruben.
of
But what's
pollen,
interesting is that
abundance of seeds,
Right,
abundance of algae.
but
They
the
grow in
deer
water.
is used in ceremony. Like when you got to
Of
go out and get
course,
the deer, it's
of
like
course,
it's like
of
a
course.
special. And that's what I'm saying. It makes sense because the deer was again too. The deer is part of the base 20.
Yeah,
I mean,
of
and so
course.
it's like if you look at our base 20, it says a lot about our culture and our society where it began. Like the fact that there's movement, there's death, and think about Mikishtli is death and Kishtli is life. It's the belly button. So it's like how a lot of the words intertwine. It's like one of them is a spiral forward, one of them is a spiral back. And so, as I'm saying, like our words are science. So they're looking at nature, and they're giving it a name, and like everything that's dark is feminine, everything that's light is masculine. And
Like we proved though that everyone agrees, probably in the chat, probably in the science community, that the language of the creator is math, right? Or numbers or some sort of count.
right.
Right? And so if we take a count and we take our words like set, lali, siwato, then we're speaking the language of the universe because se means one.
Right.
Right? So
Right.
there we go. We're connecting ourselves to our original purpose and understanding through our yolo, through our blood, and through our understanding little by little.
Right.
Little by little. Because 100 years from now, 100 years from now, it's going to change. 100 years from now.
Hey, hold on. I think somebody said you can almost eat all the creatures, but you can't eat all the plants. I don't know, man. There's some creatures you eat, you will die.
Well, I mean, it's
But
just.
wait, here's the thing,
I'm
Ruben,
not
with
saying,
experience,
look,
though.
I'm not saying,
Yeah?
I'm not trying to tell people not to eat meat. I'm not trying to tell people not to consume that type of thing. If that's what you want to do, I just know through my experience, and my experience had led me to fasting and eating once a day, plant-based. And I feel pretty strong. I do 104 push-ups a day and 52 dips and 52 squats every day. I'm pretty healthy. I eat once a day and I haven't eaten today. It's a focus because I eat the right foods. I focus on pollens, seeds, roots, algae, hydration, fruits. Those are abundant. You will never starve if you do that. You starve if you want to eat like them.
Hey, but dude, it's interesting you say that, Ruben, because and you had it in one of your songs, and I was telling the people, and they kind of started to understand. I said that the Washoe people lived in the Sierra Nevadas, and you have a song that talks about when they saw the settlers eating each other, and if you think about it, man, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy that you're sitting there watching these people come into your land and then they eat each other, and it's just a crazy, it's just kind of crazy. I mean, think about it. It's like, when you talk about, did they eat meat? Well, man, these guys just didn't know how to live here and they ate each other. And it's kind of
Right.
interesting,
Right. When you talk, but if the native that lives around there goes, "Hey, dude, don't eat the guy. There's a root right there, and there's some berries over here, and
Yeah, but Ruben, they're not
out."
talking like that. They don't see us as human at that time. They see us as like, and that's their own downfall. Do you know what I mean? Like someone who can give them life and show them the way. They were shooting at us. You know, I mean, they were shooting. Truth be told, they want to be. It's kind of like I have to say it too, man. Kind of like when I'm in Tahoe this last time, and I'd run into people and they're looking at me like, and it's just my vibe that I'm thinking, man, why are you looking at me like that? Like, and
Yeah,
it's just
just by your look alone.
right. And then it's like, man, I'm having a good week. I don't think I'm going to talk to you today, And so, because man, you know me, brother, like I'm gonna have to teach a history lesson right here. Like,
Another thing I'm learning about diet. Another thing I'm learning about diet is that one who consumes just a normal diet, like you don't fast and you don't take high mineral diets and you don't do the certain things that you need to do. You're dealing with parasites. You're dealing with bacterias and molds that grow inside of you because of what you decide to eat. I'm talking about general public stuff. I'm not talking about people who are specific on their diet. What I've learned so far right now, I've been fasting. Now I'm dealing with molds and parasites through chili, key lime, sea salt, and oil, coconut oil. And I've seen a dramatic shift in my intestinal inflammation. But I can't get to these places if I'm gonna go eat a burger and then some tacos. It's like it just won't happen.
I think someone was
And
commenting
this is where our culture is disciplined. If you're gonna eat meat, good. Eat meat and then don't eat for 3 days. Eat as much as you can with meat and then don't eat for 3 days, because that's what a wolf will do. He's not gonna eat over there and then he's gonna go eat over there and he's gonna just shove meat all day in his mouth. Come on. What was you gonna say, Dan? I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying that they were saying about spirulina. I was saying that, man, because I was kind of, I'm not gonna say I was depressed, but I was pretty sad last week. So when I'm sad like that, I stopped eating. Like my appetite just left, but I still kept eating my spirulina because I had always been
That's
I'd
what I'm
always
saying.
been advised to consume spirulina when I was younger.
Absolutely.
But then now I chose to do it on my own just because of the health benefits. But I know somebody was asking about it. But yeah, spirulina. At least to me, I supplement my diet with spirulina, and it's always been something that's. Then also, just somebody said they're a hunter, and that's cool, man. Because it's like we're talking about hunting, and I'm not a hunter. You know what I mean? But to know somebody's out there, because I know people do hunt, and they have a reason for doing it. And it's just
Yeah, great. Go be a hunter, bro. Go.
Well, you need to do that. You need to be at.
Spend 3 days or
It's a
5
good
days
skill to have.
trying to catch something that could smell you a mile away, right? Go do it.
Right.
You're good. I mean, I'm
Right.
not saying not to do it, right? To get back to spirulina. Spirulina was a big part of our culture, right? Because
Yeah.
where does spirulina come from, Daniel? I'm gonna give you one of those questions.
Do you mean like it's algae or like
Yeah,
literally?
yeah, it's algae. No, where does it come from? Where did they harvest it? If I'm gonna harvest algae, where would I harvest it from? A lake, right?
Well, don't you? I mean, isn't that what fucks up all the water around here? That it turns to algae and then shit can't live
Right.
in it.
Right. Then you put ash in the water and it alkalizes the water to only spirulina surviving.
Okay,
Right.
but
There's a
see, but
certain
that's
algae.
Mexican knowledge.
Yeah.
That's Mexican knowledge because over here, that
Yeah,
shit
but
happens and you can't.
they're
Yeah.
harvesting the wind. And people are
Okay,
going, well, wait, what do you mean it harvesting the wind?
Hmm.
Well, the spores are in the wind that land in the water.
Okay, now Ruben, if that's the case, do you know that should? I mean, if you look at that glyph, it would be Quetzalcoatl. Because
Exactly.
Quetzalcoatl would be the one that's moving. Because I always trip out
And
on that.
what color is spirulina?
Green
Blue green.
or
It's
blue. It's supposed to be blue
green.
too.
It's blue
It could be
green.
blue. I
It's
think
a
what's in it.
blue-
I think Ruben, when it comes from LA, I think it's blue.
Yeah, it's blue green algae. It's a
I'm just
blue
kidding.
green algae.
I was say it's LA blue, but yeah, but yeah,
But
the
yeah,
things that
that's what the story that was told to me is that spirulina is harvesting the wind, and when
Okay,
the
that's
wind
cool.
falls into the water, it grows.
wait, the wind falls into the water.
I mean, yeah, the wind, the spores in the wind, the spores in the wind. I could be technical about it, but the wind is going in and it carries spores,
Yeah,
and
they
they
say
get
that
trapped in the water.
they say mushrooms too have their uses too in indigenous population. So
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I can't really comment about shrooms.
Look, I would recommend the community of LA natives to go instead of researching the best marisco spot or the fucking
Hey,
best
that's pretty good
steak.
though, Ruben.
I mean, I get it. Look, I don't get the one thing I miss out of not eating meat anymore, and it's been a long time, is ceviche. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
shrimp ceviche. But hey, man, I feel amazing without it. I'm not gonna. I started looking at food in a different way. I started going, if I eat that, I'm gonna be kind of fucked up in my stomach for about like a day and a half.
You're
I
funny.
don't want to go through that shit.
No, but you, Ruben, that's important because I did that this week. Is when I'm lecturing, I can't eat in the morning, because then I just be burping and shit. So I don't really eat when I'm teaching, and then when I do shows, I just don't eat. It's just easier for me to fast when I'm working than it is to try to eat and then have my stomach all gurgling when I'm digesting. When I'm trying to talk and stuff, because it's just when you've got food in your stomach, your body concentrates on digesting it. So it really kind of makes you lethargic if you're trying to talk and do other things.
It has to. It has to. Your body shuts down because your intestines start to vibrate.
Right,
breaking
right,
down the
right,
food.
right.
So
I mean,
even if you're sitting down, I know because I know how much energy I have when I fast. I have I haven't ate today. I think I'm pretty alert.
Wow.
So I would recommend that the LA natives community start researching any pollen, any root, any algae, anything that is a plant but seed form or root form.
And I don't want anyone watching to think they could just hear all this and say, "Hey, I want to fast today."
No.
Aren't there a few things you want to look out for before you decide to select fast? Or are there any things you want to?
Yes. You have to be emotionally prepared to be disconnected to food. Because if you don't, you're going to panic. You're going to panic that you haven't ate.
Well, your body's going to start telling you that.
No.
But your mind.
No, it's not your body.
It's your mind.
Your body starts to repair itself when when you fast.
So it's your mind.
It's your mind.
Your mind.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. When you fast, when you do a 24-hour fast, I challenge anybody on LA Natives, do a 24-hour fast and pay attention to your thoughts.
That's true.
This is what I learned in the Nemotemi.
Yeah.
During the Nemotemi, when I fast for 5 days every year, the first thing my mind tells me is, you don't have to do it this year. That's cool. You're good. You look at you, man. You're good. And you know what what my heart tells my mind? I have a commitment. I have a discipline to myself.
Yeah, I remember, Ruben, I fasted when my mother passed away and I took shrooms. Man, that was quite a journey.
When you add medicines of that nature into it.
Well, I fasted and then I ate shrooms and then I had orange juice.
Right.
But you do drink liquids during your fast.
Yes. And I even eat minerals. So it's not really a traditional, like, I'm not going to eat anything for 24 hours. I suggest if you find spirulina, if you find a combination of seed, root, and algae, put it together, then decide to fast for 24 hours. But even if you do that, I'm going to tell you right now, your mind is going to scare you. Because you've trained your mind that food and the comatose state you have is comfort.
Yo,
I don't know if you're advertising.
This rapper, is his name Kevin Gates?
Yeah.
Kevin Gates? Okay, so I saw a little clip. This fool said, fasting is the best thing for your body.
Yeah.
He said because he said he fasts 3 times a year for 42 days straight.
Yeah. He's probably drinking mineral drinks.
But
like
he's taking minerals.
Yeah.
Drinking water,
Right.
juices, and then supplementing a lot of salts and.
Yeah. He's mineralizing himself. That's what you do when you mineralize. That's
a hardcore fast, though, dog.
I fast.
Like, think about it, Sky. Can you go out with no food for 46 days?
I'd have to prepare for that right away now.
Look,
I'd be like an
now,
addict.
does he eat meat though after? Is he vegetarian after? And does he go back to 3 times eat three times a meal after? So that's it's like.
But pushing propaganda like that, like to make it seem like anyone could do it, like fuck, bro, like that's a That's a challenge, you know. Something I was like, yo, if he could do 42 days, I could at least do 7.
Look.
Hey, but Mondo,
think
some
of it
people
like this.
die
Think of
trying
it
to
like
do that,
this.
though. You know
Think
that.
of it like this, though. Think of it like this. Think of you in a car, right? Now, if you have a brand new car off the lot, yeah, you can fucking go as far as you want. But that means that your organs are in right, that everything is functioning properly, and that you're thin and you're not dealing with overweight issues, you're not dealing with any kind of side effects, any kind of sickness. But if you have a hoopty and you're trying to go up a mountain and one of them has a leaky tire and the oil's leaking and your water pump's almost out and you're going to try to go up a mountain? Nah, you're not going to do it. Fix your car first. And that's what I suggest to people. I don't suggest to people to jump into fasting. No, get into the roots, seeds, algae, consume them for 30 days. Consume them religiously for 30 days, and you'll tell yourself that you'll fast. Your body will be ready. It's like you going and taking that hoopty and going, okay, today I'm going to change the water pump. Today I'm going to change the tires. Today I'm going to fucking do this. Today I'm going to do that. Next thing you know, in a month or 2 months later, you have a fucking ride that's fucking ready to go. That's what I did.
If you're hitting a fast food drive-through every single day, and then you just think you want to fast for 7 days, don't do it, bro.
Yeah, don't do that. That's
That'll
harmful.
drive you insane.
You're not. If you're eating that much, then you're looking for comfort. You're looking for
also
comfort.
too, in
When
the
you
chat
eat
it
that
says right
much.
there, don't fast if you're diabetic. Well, I'm diabetic. I fast all the time. I mean, I understand that, but honestly, where I studied, they said that when you have diabetes,
Look,
cut
time
back
out
on
right
dieting, your body fixes itself. It begins to regulate itself, and I've seen it. When I eat less, my body does better. But then not only that, if you're diabetic, in particular diabetes, if you consume the nopal and different forms of the nopal, it helps you regulate your insulin. Like I learned that at the health clinic. My mother used to eat that, and it would help her regulate her insulin. But I think what happens is that diabetes is a very interesting sickness that we have as natives, because we get it because they sidelined our diet. Our diet did not have processed things like that. So
it did not have meat
one of the-
in that much consumption, and it didn't have
Yeah.
meat processed in that way, and it did
And
not
that's
have
like you
meat
said,
in
Ruben,
that way.
you can't have that much meat. We just don't. But in general, if you consume too much processed anything, it
No,
begins to collect in your kidneys and your liver, and you can't get rid of those things. That's why those processed foods are one of the main variables for cancer. One of the main reasons people get cancer. And so, and as natives, we don't have a high rate of cancer. We have a higher rate of diabetes. And so it's just various ways. But again, it's our diet. I mean, look at the natives, and they just have all those sodas. And soda is one of the toughest things, for natives. And I love soda, man. It's a
but
struggle.
soda. Okay, here's why you drink a lot of soda, because you're trying to get the sugar from the soda, right? The sugar is glucose, and you're running your body off of glucose. You're gonna crash. The body can't handle a glucose-enriched diet, right? It's like, oh, let me get a soda because I need energy. Or let me get a coffee, but you're putting shitloads of sugar into it.
That's cool. That's great.
Look, you want to have all the energy you want, switch from glucose to acidic. Alkaline the acidity and neutralize it, and then your day's over. You see, how do you neutralize the acidity? Through fruit and vegetable, salad. Sky, the first thing I eat is what? Fruit or salad?
Yeah.
To neutralize the acidity that's giving me energy.
Yeah. The thing is, basically, Ruben, you're talking about pHing your body.
Okay,
I
I never read a book about this.
But it's true. It helps a lot.
But I
It
want
helps
to point out one
pH
thing.
right.
I want to point out one thing. I never read a book about this. I never read one book. I never saw one YouTube. I never did any. I learned it myself because that's the way my ancestors thought. I don't tap into books. I tap into my blood. Blood needs no words. It only has a direction. And if you have the discipline to carry the blood, you'll know the direction. That's what guided me to fasting and eating seed, root, and algae. That's
Yo.
my principal diet.
The chat is lit. Everyone's curious about this topic. Everyone wants to probably try it if they haven't already.
Okay,
Hey,
cool.
well-
Here's how you try it. Here's how you try it. You try it by going to whatever media, whatever you use, a phone, a computer, and look up the best seeds, roots, and algae to consume. Consume them daily for 30 days. Then cut back on your food intake. You'll feel your body get stronger in the next 30 days. Remember, we're fixing the car. We have to fix the car so we can go far. My car is my body. I have to allow it time to heal itself. But if it's concentrating on digestion every fucking 4 hours, it doesn't have the time to heal itself. First, ingest large amounts of seeds, roots, and algae that are high in mineral content. Spirulina, maca, chia, cacao, hemp. That's my formula.
Someone's asking, should he ask AI on Google for it? I'm sure AI will give him an accurate list of.
Do whatever you can. Ask AI, ask your mom, ask me, ask Daniel, ask Guy, whoever it is. Seed, root, algae for 30 days.
And
That's not the only thing you're going to eat. I want you to consume it every day.
And if you're in the LA SoCal area, go to Malalani Superfoods.
And I can assist you more. I could guide you more there, for sure. And remember, I'm guiding you. I'm not telling you.
You know what, too? I was going to say, Ruben, I noticed, like, when I was gone for a week, that when I got back, my dad, his hand was swollen. He's fucking moving slow. And truth be told, every day when I was with my dad, I give him a tea in the morning and I give him fruit. Like, we start off, it's like, and he wasn't on that when I was gone. And so since I've been back, I'm back giving him on just fruit and teas, and like, truth be told, like, I fell down and my brother shows up and goes, "Hey man, is he supposed to be on the floor?" I'm like, "No, he ain't supposed to." And so it's like, and Ruben, we used to take care of people. We used to that was your job, right? And you remember how like someone would just be on taking care of somebody. They'd take a week off. Someone would take over, and man, that person was just fucked up for a week. And you don't you forget. But by point back to we're talking about diet. I get up every morning and I would make the dog and my dad breakfast, and it's just my routine. I would give them tea and fruit, and it's what I learned at the clinic where I studied years ago. And it's like, if you begin to have discipline in your diet, because the thing is that when you fast, your body, I mean, think about it. Back in the day, we didn't have grocery stores. All those things that when you didn't eat, your body would fix itself, literally. Now, the key is that if you're so filled with shit that if you fast, it could kill you, don't do that. But even if you fast, you want to begin with just drinking water, maybe, and just going no food for a day. But it's really like the regimen should always be kind of watered down, literally, because think about it. Whatever's in your body, you're going to need water to flush it through. Okay, it's like to just fast. No, you got to drink water, and that's its own kind of fast, because you could live without food, but you can't live without water. You can live a few days without water, but you can live long without food. And so, to understand those basic things. But again, too, and it's like people have noticed or have commented on the chat, it's very true. When you begin to fast, when you begin to stop taking food into your system, your body changes its whole system. The system changes because it's not eating anymore. Then begins to tap into all the fat. Everything that's extra on your body begins to tap into that. By drinking the water, you turn that fat into energy. And so if you want to lose weight or not, but sometimes it's good to have excess fat. So anytime you don't eat, you can feed off of something. But when you're really thin, then that's the extra, and you don't have that anymore. But a lot of us, our pipes are all filled. I hate to say it, but you're full of shit. And by fasting, you're going to water yourself through all those things. And like what Ruben said, some of us have like protrusions in our guts in places where bacteria started to grow. And it's kind of like when you look at a tube and things get stuck, but you pour the right ingredient down there and all that shit washes out. And so those are the things that he's talking about. There's certain roots and things that just will get into your stomach and make you feel kind of, but if you're in touch with your body, it's a beautiful thing, because then you can begin to understand what you consume, because you are what you eat. So, you are what you eat.
Just remember one thing, though. The point of fasting is to get control of your diet.
Good point. Yes.
This is not a test. This isn't a high five after I fast. Now let's
Well,
go.
you can though.
Now let's go in and out. No, I don't. I don't recommend that.
But not
'Cause
not not
this
not.
is what like bodybuilders do.
Yeah, good point.
Bodybuilders will go and fucking do this, and I'm fasting, and I'm fasting, and I'm fasting. I am not gonna eat, and look at my body, and look at how cool I look, and da 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 da. And they win the competition or lose the competition, and the first thing they go do is eat a burger.
Break the rules.
Dude, nah, not me. You see, I fast for 5 days every year, and then eat once a day for the rest of the year. And I eat a small amount. I make sure, though, that I eat seed, root, and algae as my principal diet. It's not like I'm not eating anything, but I'm switching the whole digestive process to mineralizing my blood. When I get mineralized blood, I get stronger blood cells. If I get stronger blood cells, I have a stronger memory. This is the point of fasting. You have to let go of things. Don't fast, high five, and go eat a burger. Fast, high five, and say, I'm never eating a burger again. That's what I did.
Or I would think if you do, make it at home. Make sure you know exactly what's in that fucking burger.
Well,
Right.
here's
know.
what I have to say
Right.
about meat. Here's what I have to say about meat. Look, in European times, I'm guessing, I didn't read a book and find this out, but it makes sense. They killed an animal, they didn't know how to store it, it got a bunch of parasites, it got a bunch of maggots, but they said, well, if we throw it on the flame and put the sauce on it, it'll be better. Okay, now modern times. Well, they killed the animal about 30 days ago.
Yeah.
Now they stuffed it on a hook in a refrigerator. You don't think the animal has parasites in it? You don't think the animal has parasites in it? It's the same European concepts.
Yeah.
When you hunt, you need to process immediately. Dry it out. Take the lactic acid. Make it a jerky. Carry it home to your community. They don't put it on a hook in a refrigerator. Oh, okay, well, look at how juicy it is.
Hey, we grabbed one of those mushroom-based veggie burgers that they sell at Trader Joe's. That shit was fucking good.
There you go. And how did you feel after? How did your stomach feel after? That's the key.
Yeah, I eat like shit all the time, unfortunately, and I'm trying to cut back. But when I did eat the mushroom burger, I did feel lighter
Yeah. You don't feel as
and just as full.
yeah, no. Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, this shit tastes good.
Yeah. So
I mean, everybody's different,
but
man.
look,
You know,
this is-
everybody's
this is-
different.
but see here's where we got to challenge ourselves, because remember, I believe that Mexica culture challenged itself. You have to challenge yourself, right? You're trying to reach full potential. Daniel, help me with this. At what? 52 in Nahuatl? What was?
Right. Right.
What was
What are you asking though? I'm sorry. Ruben.
What's the name? What's the name of 52 in Nahuatl? You said it.
Shimulpili.
Shimupili, right?
Shimupili.
We're trying to reach our Shimupili,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because when I turn Shimupili, I'm gonna outrun a 20-year-old. I'm gonna do so many push-ups that a 30-year-old's gonna go, how the hell is he doing that? Because I'm at full potential. Our goal is to reach full potential. And you have Shimupili years to do it.
And that's the thing, Ruben. I think it's a good point, man. That we are people that, you know, and you said it, the people of experience are the ones that you know, step forward. But it's also, think about it, nature always makes the right choice. And if you observe nature, you know, you just look at nature and you just see a mama bear, a mama eagle, all the mamas, man, just working hard to provide for their babies. And you see the male counterpart doing its part. They're different. They're always different, but the mama is always in harmony with nature. You know, she's the protector. And so it's just interesting that, again, too, I tried to explain this, that we live in a world, okay, where the man invaded this land, and the man invaded this land without a woman. And so now all the shit's men, and it's like it's done already. Shit's done. Like everything in the world where you've got men or anything, they're just killing people. It's just war, it's anger, and it's fear. And it's just ugly, but it's just they had their chance. They've been in charge for over 500 years, and this is where we're at so far. And this is interesting. This is cool. I led all of my classes, and it was funny. I'd say, okay, everybody, do we all agree? Do we all agree that the Aztec and Mayan culture are an advanced culture? They were an advanced culture. Not a single person disagreed. We all agree that the Maya and the Mexica were an advanced culture. We're all in agreement. Here's the next one. So who is running this world? The women. The women were running the world. So I had them all say this together. The Mexica and the Aztec culture were an advanced culture. The Mexica and Aztec culture were run by women. And they just laughed, but that's the truth. And I don't need to bend it, rewrite it. You know this. The world right now is run by men. And most of the time, those men don't look like me. And so these are facts, and the facts as they are, you can't fight the sun. You cannot beat the sun. And so the sun now is telling us to create. And you and I can't create by ourselves, brother. We can't. As much as I want to, we can't. I know that. So I'm not even trying to do that. Your creator's right here in front of us. And we got to support her, and we got to build this new Kali. It's a whole new society that we have. We're going to build it together, having a vision of the seeds, because I think
That's
I
important.
you got to tell Blauis not to eat a burger, brother. You and I have already lived our life not eating burgers. Now you got to get that kid to not eat a burger. You do that, I'll be impressed. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you're realizing, because you're there talking to them. Okay, well, let's see Blauis do this, brother.
Well,
Tell me, Blauis, no, Blauis, you can't have In-N-Out no more.
yeah.
You can't have burgers,
You
But
know,
again, that's the truth, and that's the
you know,
life, brother.
when Flowey's, wait a minute, come
Bless
on.
him, bless
Hey,
him, though. You know what I mean? Like,
I understand what you're saying, Daniel, but the certain circumstances that are happening and the ability of me having him at the morning time. If I had him in the morning time, I could give him my minerals, and then he wouldn't want the burger, because when I had him on minerals, he wasn't want there. But there's chaos in my family.
well, everywhere, brother. As long as you
No,
respect the
I'm
challenge,
talking about something that's out of our
right?
control. So we have to regroup, figure out a strategy, and then implement it. Right? This is and this is what I'm talking about in general with people who are trying to get control of their diet, who are trying to feel better, who are trying to remember their true self, their authentic self. It takes discipline. That discipline is not comfortable. It's not. You have to challenge yourself. So, anyways, Daniel, you got any last words, man? We're gonna
No,
about.
no. I think, man, it's all good. I was gonna say, just on your son, my contribution is like I'm getting that guy a soccer ball.
Yeah. No, and he just came from the
That's
States,
the
so
thing. Is
shout
that
out Flowers.
and that's our way, brother. Because I think is to see our people and to influence them in a good way, as you say.
Well, and also too, not to yank the burger out of his mouth. You have to strategize it.
Here's the thing,
Like,
brother. I bring that up just
I'm not gonna yank the burger out of his
course
mouth
not.
because I
Of
don't have
course.
control. Look, his big brothers influence him,
Right.
right? They make fun of him. Oh, you're trying to be vegan, and
Oh,
like I said, I didn't raise my children with the iron fist, man.
no, of course not.
I allowed them to make choices, and if they wanted to make that choice, well, you're gonna suffer the consequence. But all I could be is an example to my children. So when I turn 52, they're gonna go, "Damn, Dad, I want to be just like you."
I just,
Exactly.
Ruben,
And
I
to
just,
be just like me, just to be just like me, you have to have a lot of discipline, son.
right.
You have
But
to have a
it's a
lot of
challenge.
discipline. You have to have a lot of discipline. You have to have a lot of love in your heart for your family. You have to have a lot of love in your heart for everyone and everything that exists on this planet.
Right. And I just say that, man. Think about it. What we're asking people out there to do, like the details of it aren't easy. And so I just think as people find their way to do these tough things in life, because really, again, too, the Mexica, we had tough things to do. And there's stories about we did it and we challenged it and we overcame it. And because we overcame it, we became the Mexica. We became, a culture that had something left to be admired and to be proud of, and I think that we've got a lot. And again, too, we've, it's discipline. But again, too, man, nothing that's worth anything comes easy.
Right.
Everything that's important to you, like what's important to me, I work at it, man, and I take great pride when it succeeds.
Yeah.
But again, too, that's our influence. It's just we live in the Mexica world. We live in the same world our ancestors live. We just speak differently, which limits our thoughts sometimes, but we still have the same hearts. We still have the same love. It's just, we just have to make this a better place for our seeds, for Tlawis. This is for basically it's all for Tlawis. It's the same for you and me. We already played this game.
No,
He's
and
the
the good
way,
thing and the good thing about Tlawis is he knows my diet. He knows my diet. He knows. He's like, oh, you haven't ate yet, huh? No, I'm
He's
not.
just, he observes
He's
everything,
looking.
Ruben.
He's looking. He's looking at me, and I have to be a humble example to him. And then one day he's gonna be. I want to be just like my dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there you go.
Exactly.
You want to be just like me? Okay. Well, you got to get up. You got to do this. You got to
But
do that.
Ruben, you lead by example, brother. You lead by example. You don't lead with an iron fist. You lead by example. And
I
that's the
lead with.
native way.
I lead with exactly you're talking about. It
Of
is a
course you
woman.
do.
It is
Brother,
a
I
woman.
admire you. I don't have kids like you. So I look at you and I feel fortunate to be part of your kids' lives,
Right on.
So it's a
Well,
blessed thing, and so I leave on that note, brother, that we've got a lot still to do. And except for Tlawis, man, for the light.
yeah. So, as we wrap it up, Sky, anything to say? Do we have anybody on the chat right there?
The chat was lit, man. We definitely have a lot of viewers tuning in. This is a crazy and special episode, man. There's a lot of gems that Daniel dropped.
Yeah.
I'm sure a
101.
lot of people
It's
are gonna learn.
101.
And we're just getting started, man. He didn't even go all the way to 10. He
Absolutely
only went to
not.
4.
Hey, it's LA natives 101.
Yeah, man. And we're going to start to implement and structure this stuff so that we can assist ourselves, learn from each other, because no one is better than anyone else. We're all learning together, and don't feel bad about not knowing something and not knowing the direct lineage you come from, because remember, invaders came here and they didn't care. They grabbed people's hairs. They spread their disease. They spread their bad habits, and now we're here. But our goal is very simple: to be the best example to your loved ones, whether you have children or not. What we talked about today was the language had math in it. So if the language had math in it, we were speaking the language of the universe. We have our place in that universe. When we focus ourselves, when we discipline ourselves, when we understand that our body's a vessel and should not be exploited because we feel emotions that we don't want to deal with, and we eat our way to comfort, we have to think about reaching our 52 and being the fullest potential that we can, so that our children and their children will look at us and say, I want to be just like him. Humble, strong, wise, connected forever. We'll see you next week. La Sucamatli Mateo.